Hey, welcome to Stargate Legacy, celebrating the 25th anniversary of Stargate SG-1's debut. There's a lot of fun activities going on today from the wider community, and we've linked a few in the description of this video if you want to join in. If you're new to the companion or have always been curious about what we're about, I encourage you to sign up to our free newsletters. The Week in Geek is a roundup of all the awesome news, stories, artwork, posters, collectibles. It's a really high bar for something to get into the Week in Geek, so there will never be any random clickbait or fake news. And if you crave deep analysis and perspectives, you might want to sign up to the Full Read newsletter, where each week we'll give you a free, in-depth, 20-minute feature article right into your inbox. There'll be oral histories, behind-the-scenes interviews, and original writing from pros like Brad Wright, who created the amazing show we're celebrating today. So let's just do that. Let's bring in the man who helped make all of this happen, Brad Wright, and the star of stars, Richard Dean Anderson.
Hey, Lawrence, how you doing?
Star of stars?
Yeah, there's stars,
yeah.
and then there's you at the top.
It's a Christmas star.
Yeah. Brad's a naturally sunburned. Me, I get embarrassed. So.
Okay. Well, that's what we're
It's
here
true.
for. Yeah, to celebrate you and embarrass you a little bit because you've really changed so many lives. I think in the comments, and everyone has been talking about it all day.
Let's not launch this conversation on that subject, okay? Jeepers.
No, it's the 25th anniversary. It's just fun. It's just fun.
25. Jeez. That's for the series, right?
That's for the premiere of SG-1, which was 25 years ago today. I mean, it's for us, it's like longer because, we shot it for a lot longer than long before it aired. So, yeah, no, it's longer for us. Doesn't look like it sometimes.
For us movie people.
Yes. I've been at this. We started writing it 26 years ago. Pretty much.
Must be very tired. Sorry.
Right.
Old joke.
Mm-hmm. I think I wrote it for you.
Yeah, we're gonna tell hopefully some good stories, but if it's hard to come up with some, what we've done is we found some old photos, some behind the scenes images. We collated some fan stories as well, just as kind of thought starters for you both, and hopefully let you know and show you how much the entire community cares. So, yeah, why don't we kind of show the first photo? It's of a young Brad, and
Oh my God!
I don't know if Rick, you can.
Oh yeah.
If you remember Brad at that kind of age, that young Brad age.
Oh.
Jesus.
Well, yeah, that's a young Brad. It was hard to tell. Oh yeah, how
I
old
was.
is he?
This is season 1. I was 30. Well, I can tell from the computer. I was 36, 35 or 36.
Yeah, look at that computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're beautiful, bud. You haven't changed a bit.
Well, I still have hair. That's a plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have another photo as well. It's with I guess Rick and maybe the questions. As a man of action, maybe you could describe. I don't know if you ever did. Like, what's it like either doing the stunts or watching some of the stuntmen? I guess be you and doing stunts. I don't know if you have any stories there, or Brad, if you remember.
I remember this one.
Times. Yeah.
This one had a lot of wire work. We actually one of my favorite shots in the show is the very end with the spinning. We turned the puddle into the spinning vortex because of the gravity, because we actually accidentally dialed the black hole. And so that is O'Neill and who's the other guy?
Carter.
No,
Like
no, it's a guy.
Was it Colonel Frank?
Yeah, it's Colonel something.
Yeah, I'm gonna forget his name.
And they were they didn't like each other. They were at odds over a previous op they worked on together, and he sacrifices himself in the last scene. Spoiler alert. But that was a fun shoot.
I
Martin
think that
directed
might
it.
be that blurry person might be you, Rick, right there.
And aren't those stunt people or what?
Or they stunt people? Oh, I don't know.
I can't tell. I can't.
Yeah.
No, I mean they're so tiny.
You did it too. You did some artwork. I remember.
Well, I liked
you said, yeah. It was quite athletic, actually, because the shot of having to reach back up, you would have, that would have been quite a lot of core work. It was good. It was good.
No, it's not me.
It was a ways ago.
Fun times.
We've got
Season
another
2.
Yeah, season 2. Yeah. We have another fun photo. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but I've never seen anything like this. Obviously, you imagine these pyramid Haytech spaceships being, so huge, and obviously the special effects are groundbreaking, for its time. And as an actor, I'm sure you're seeing these tiny, wheeled out pyramids on a wheelie bin in the parking lot, and we see it on screen. Just massive.
I never knew that those were that size. I thought they were all just generated, but
no, I know what this one was for. Rob Cooper, this might be from the 200th episode. Rob Cooper wanted to blow up a pyramid, like just massive explosion, and Ray did it. And we built this giant thing, filled it full of explosives, and blew the shit out of it. To do an explosion, you back in the day at least, you needed significantly. You couldn't just do it all CG. You had to have a real explosion and comp it all together. So, and Rob wanted a big explosion. We spent a fortune on that shot, actually.
Yeah, because these days it would just be like visual effects, right? And CGI. It
was a combination.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was mainly a combination.
Right.
I'm more impressed with the sky. That's a Vancouver sky if I ever saw one.
Beauty.
Yeah. Rain.
And we've got another photo as well. It's of you, Rick, walking down the Vancouver sulfur pits. I can only imagine the smell. I don't know if you remember it all, and I hope actually you don't remember what this smelled like.
Actually, I don't remember it being stinky like sulfur can be.
Mm.
It wasn't smelling. It did rot everybody's shoes, but
okay.
And you could light your feet later.
Sorry?
You could light your feet.
Yeah.
So Brad, you would go down to these locations as well, or like in the beginning, would you do that, or how that?
Early on, well, of course. Early on, what we were doing was trying to come up with something that wasn't running around in trees. Because that's what we had, right? We couldn't build much, and if we wanted to be outside, it was either trees or something like this. And there was nobody would let us do this now.
What?
For good reason, probably. But it looked great. I mean, the perfect blue sky in contrast to it's sort of a Ukrainian flag now that I think of it. But it was just terrific. And then Richard Hugh Dolan, our production designer, put crystals in it, and the crystals drove the story. And then Rick got to play two different O'Neills, Alien O'Neill and him.
Is that Lazarus?
Yeah, Cold Lazarus. I don't understand why Jeff King, who wrote the episode, I don't know why he named it that. He just went okay. But Cold Lazarus, all right, sounds okay. There's another funny story about that episode, and that is, and this is true story. At the end of that episode, it really is. At the end, there's a great scene with Harley Jane Kozak as O'Neill's wife, and they have a moment together. And we shot it in a hospital, and they have this moment together, and it's a really kind of a touching scene where he's basically saying goodbye to her because he needs to move on because of that. We were trying to shed the backstory from the feature where O'Neill had accidentally left a gun in a place where his son could find it, use it, and kill himself, which, by the way, made him a pretty shitty soldier. So we wanted to kind of move beyond that so that Rick could be untethered by, the previous character. And so we wrote this lovely, or Jeff and I wrote this lovely goodbye scene between the two of them. And in editing, we wanted a moment to last a little bit longer as they're staring at each other. And we made it last as long as we could editorially. And then we put in the sound of a helicopter coming. So they're looking at each other, and then they hear, and then O'Neill says, "I gotta go." And she says, "I know." Beautiful moment, touching moment. This is the note. I won't say who I got from either the network or the studio. I don't remember which. Brad, can we see them getting into the helicopter? And I said, sure. Oh, right. We had a helicopter there. We just didn't shoot it. We just cut the helicopter out. And he went, "Well, I heard a helicopter." And I said, "Yes, you heard it. It was a sound effect." Real note. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, that's my memory of that episode. That's the thing that stuck, that network note.
Who was that?
I'll tell you later.
No,
it wasn't Hank. It was not Hank.
Not John.
No. John just went, "Good episode, Bradley." That's all John would say.
Is he still with us?
I think so. I haven't spoken to him in 5 or 6 years, maybe longer. But yeah, he's doing okay. He's retired, I think.
Yeah. We're talking about John Symes, the
man who brought us together.
Right. And who I kind of almost owe my career to.
Yeah, because he was at Paramount before MGM.
Yeah.
Good guy. Hey, I owe my career, that's for sure. He was very, very good to me.
We don't want to start talking about old executives that we had affairs with, or really.
There was no affairs. No.
In the pejorative.
Yeah.
What does pejorative mean?
Not good.
Pejorative, really?
Yeah.
Look that up, Wood.
That means not good. Oh, yeah.
This is also a famous location, Jack's cabin, not in Minnesota, but in Vancouver. I don't know if there's any fond memories here, or did you ever go out to here, Brad?
Yeah. We actually shot an episode of Travelers there recently. Well, a few years ago. It's the footprint of that place is not very big. It looks like it's out in the wilderness. It is not. If you pan a little this way.
Isn't there a road right there?
There's a road right there, yeah.
Are there any fish in the pond?
It looks good, though.
It was a comfortable day of shooting.
Yeah, with lots of fish.
Okay. Apparently, it's quite a famous location. There's been quite a few films and shows kind of all shot like at this location. I don't know if it's like a popular production.
It's very
spot.
tiny inside.
It's very convenient to get there, and
yeah,
especially from Burnaby.
Nice. And then we also have a photo. I think we talked about this last time, but I'm sure there's a really special moment being honored by the Air Force, and that's you. That's
Jumper.
Rick. Yeah.
General Jumper.
Yeah, that's him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was actually quite moving for me, because my ongoing relationship with the military in general, no individuals or specifics, but as a concept, let's put it this way. I wasn't trying real hard to get into the Vietnam War. And it kind of started there. But these guys just opened up their, well, in this case, General Jumper took me aside and chatted me up and gave me all kinds of kudos, because I had asked him directly at one point, please forgive me if it is so, but do you have other colonels in the Air Force who are like Jack O'Neill? And he stopped me in mid-sentence and said, yes, and worse. I didn't know how you could get worse. He said, yeah, the edge on the attitude would probably have to be altered a little bit, but no, you're doing a great job, son.
When you save the world as many times as Jack O'Neill did, I think you get a little latitude, Yeah. A little latitude, world-saving latitude. Just check another one.
If the world only knew. But that was really a great event. I forget, there was also someone retiring during the ceremony. Not because the ceremony wasn't just for me. It was kind of accumulation, and there was somebody of great honorability that was being honored as well.
Is that Tom Giannazzo in the background? Our one of our no?
I don't think so. It seemed, well, I don't know. It could have been. I'd be unaware of it, but it was all military. It was a big auditorium and stuff.
Well, he was our Air Force liaison, so he was military. But I can't.
Oh, it's possible. He certainly positioned himself properly.
Find the camera.
Yeah, good job.
So this was like a big like Air Force event, not like specifically for Stargate or anything. This was like you sort of joined as part of this kind of Air Force event or celebration, right, Rick?
Well, yeah, I would have. Yeah. I can't imagine that they would have thrown the whole thing for me, but I quite honestly think it was for, hang on, I wish I could remember his name, but he was in a wheelchair, and he'd been around quite a while, so they were honoring him. Oh, let's put it this way: I went first, so that meant the big gun came out later. So,
but they were honoring you, and I think that was great. I thought that was great that they were honoring. Yeah. And he was the first general who did a cameo in Stargate. Who was the second guy? Jeez, so bad. But he said one of the first things he said once he took over the job was of general of the Air Force. Apparently, allegedly, was, when do I get to do my Stargate cameo? and we said they said that to us, and we said whenever he wants to. So they did. Yeah, but
wait up,
great. Well, all those guys. I've met a few. I've met a few generals, and I met an admiral. You never got to meet the admiral because he and I were on the plane to go to the Arctic, but didn't make it because of the wind shear. We couldn't land, and he was the admiral in charge of the operation on the ice that allowed you to be in the Arctic and see the sub come through the ice and continue on. But anyway, he was a really cool guy too. They're all. I mean, when you get to a high level in any organization, but especially the military, the social skills are just like through the roof. They're very good with people.
Yep.
We got some fan photos that, or like fan stories actually, that kind of show the legacy of Stargate. I don't know if you have heard or seen any of these stories before. So this one is from Quentin and Brazat. They're two members of a fan group called Les Enfants de MacGyver, which is, I guess, literally directly for Rick here, the children of MacGyver. And they came up with this idea to create a 100% accurate and fully functioning Stargate. I don't know if you've heard this story, or I don't know if
I have, yeah.
seen that. Yeah.
Fully
So
functioning as the prop, not necessarily
yeah, yeah.
a working
Going to the Stargate,
Stargate. Let's be
right? Yeah,
clear.
Oh, I bought it. I bought into it.
yeah. I don't know if we can go back to the last photo, Tom, but the last one was kind of showing Reese when the project first started. He was only 13 years old, and the project eventually took 8 years to complete. And so he was one of the 100 people in total on the team, 8 different countries, 4 different languages. They had to um, communicate through texting and email and images rather because they couldn't speak to each other necessarily. And so eventually Reese joined the team, and for his like college thesis project at the Central School of Speech and Drama, he actually used this as one of his kind of thesis final projects. Um, yeah, so I mean that's how long and dedicated these fans were. Yeah, so
Is
then the
that
next image, yeah, that's him here. Yeah, Reese. And so the three of them to kind of give you a scale, and I guess it's actually as how big the Stargate Atlantis, um, gate was.
Gate. Yeah, that's the Atlantis Gate. That
Yeah,
that first photo was a really good photograph as a photograph.
thanks. Yeah, we went down and captured them when they were. This was actually 3 years ago, I think, when we captured some of these for these guys. And so yeah, this is like
I have to say the SG-1 gate was more complicated. The
yeah,
the
yeah,
Atlantis Gate turned just digitally. It didn't. There was not a physical wheel that moved. Not like
cheaters?
our SG-1 gate. That was a
yeah,
pretty cool prop.
yeah, really
Yeah.
cool. Um, yeah, this is the kind of excitement and passion, um, you know, that Stargate, I guess, brings it out to the fans. I'm sure they didn't think it was going to take 8 years, but keeping 100 people motivated, I guess, for nearly a decade with just passion. There wasn't anything else. Is
It's. I mean, the thing about this show is that the gate itself is such a powerful icon, and that's why we changed it for each iteration of the show to brand the gate to the show. But even changing from the movie, because there was it didn't light up in the movie. We had ours light up because we knew it was probably going to be on a 20-inch or less television set in standard definition. We wanted it to pop on the screen, and that's how long ago 25 years is.
Jesus.
I mean, standard def.
At least we had the sense to transition into color. The black and white episodes were just did.
Yeah. Although the noir, they were good for the noir episodes. It really worked well for those. Sorry.
Got me.
Sorry, buddy.
No, good cat. I love it.
No, I remember when we saw the Stargate, the original SG-1 Stargate, as they were building it, because what did I know? We were like, yeah, build a Stargate, and it was this massive undertaking, and all the original one, and setting it up and making it work. And I remember seeing it work for the first time, and I think we were both there, Rick. It was like, holy shit, because it was huge. It was it was the same scale as in the feature. We wanted it to be that. But Jonathan and I went because we thought, well, maybe the existing Stargate exists, and we found out. I was in LA. I don't know if it was around casting, but anyway, I was in LA working with John on the pilot episode, I think, and we drove out to where the Stargate was being stored. I think it was like in Death Valley. At least it felt like Death Valley because it was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And we walked out and there was just this piece of arc steel. I mean, that was all that was left. Everything that was attached to it, everything that made it a Stargate was worn away by the weather. And I remember stepping into it and looking up and seeing a giant spider coming down toward me on a web. I thought, oh, I should put that in an episode. We never did. But yeah, the movie one died in the desert.
It really
So
did.
It did.
But the dimensions were the same?
I think so, yeah. In fact, we had the blueprints, and then that really helped us build it. They locked every chevron as it went around, and what we did is we just locked the top one, so that because it was really expensive to make that thing go chunk chunk. So we just did the top and made the dialing that much longer. But sometimes that was a good, 20 seconds of screen time that we could use with Gary saying chevron 1 encoded, and then it would spin again. And chevron 2 encoded. And every time you type that in a script, you'd be like, okay, there's another 30 seconds. That's great. If you had it padded out, we often added more chevrons. Yeah.
Is that why every generation, like eventually you get to universe and there's just, eventually you're going to get to like 10 or 12 chevrons. You could just keep going.
In my pilot script that I wrote that will probably never see the light of day a couple of years ago, when MGM asked me to write a pilot script, for a new show, I had an entirely new human-built Stargate, and it just spun up like crazy, and then went just jung, 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 and
Right.
and opened, because I thought it's about time we sped up the process after 25 years, don't you think? So maybe they'll do that anyway. It's cool. It was really cool, at least in the script.
Yeah. What made you go digital in Atlantis versus the kind of more manual?
I think it was what are you doing there?
Am I moving around?
Yeah, I'm just looking at your hand.
You're just like you're kind of fingers.
No, I thought you were changing the channel. That's really all I thought you were doing. No. There's something else on. Brad's talking too much.
No, I was trying to adjust my eye line so I could look at you and still see me.
Good. What the hell was I saying, Laura?
I was asking in Atlantis why you went digital from the mechanical.
Right. It was just digital. Everything was going digital, so we went digital too, and we wanted it to look different. And that was by no means my idea. I think the only idea I had is I wanted the chevron color to be different, and not the SG-1 chevron color. But it's beautiful, and the SGU one is I think beautiful too, and that was James Robbins who designed that. That was a gorgeous thing.
When you think about that, then you're not giving like a really solid brief. You're giving it to the art department. You're giving it to an art director to come up with something, or do you have actually?
Well, the way the process works is you write the script. That's your job, and then you have a meeting in an art department, and they show you shit, and they go, "What do you think of this?" And I go, back in the day, I go, "This is really good." And if it was a big enough thing, I'd go down to the set of the trailer and run into Michael Greenberg and Rick, who were sitting at Video Village, and I'd show them a piece of paper and I'd say, "What do you think of this?" And they'd go either cool or, I don't know, let's do something else. And but generally speaking, our art departments were astoundingly good from the get-go. I mean, Richie Tudolan, Bridget McGuire, James Robbins, they just were terrific and worked so hard. I mean, I used to think I was coming in early sometimes, and half the art department would already be there, and the sun isn't even up yet, and they're there. It's astounding. That's how hard people work in this business.
Yeah. Rick, did you ever give Brad any notes at all?
I whined a couple of times, but not seriously. No, I had sense enough to stay out of the way, pretty much. Was kind of part of my job. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I mean, the whole thing was collaborative, but the mainstay was right on your screen there. Your screen there.
There. Okay.
He's
well, it was, and I can't take all the credit either, not in a million years. Rob Cooper was amazing, and Jonathan and I got the ball rolling, and we had a great team. Paul and Joe, Paul Molly, Joe Malazzi. Joe is probably leading the tweet storm right now for trying to get Stargate back on the air in some capacity.
Wait, yeah, this Stargate or any Stargate?
Another one. This one is already on the air somewhere, I'm sure. It's always playing somewhere, which is a wonderful thing. There's nothing better than flipping through channels and there's Stargate.
Oh yeah,
and it's invariably an episode I can't stand, and I have to turn it.
Stargate for me
that
is
one.
like,
what had happened to be that one?
Stargate for me is like there's a type of movie or a show where I call it like come on for the ride type show, and like it doesn't really matter where it's at. Back to the Future is very similar. Like you can go halfway through a Stargate episode, you actually stumble onto it and you go, okay, like I'll watch this for like 5 minutes, and it just takes you on the ride. And then before you know it, it's the end of the episode. So you could be at the beginning, you could be in the middle, you could be 3/4 of the way through, but it's that kind of show for me, where it's just on and then you forget what you were watching before or doing before.
Sometimes it's on and I'll go, holy shit, we did that? We submerged the set in a pool, made actors dive in the pool. Actually, that's the kind of thing that Rick went, hell yeah, I'll do that. I'd love to do that.
Loved.
You did.
Awesome.
And then there's the ones that you go, there we are running through the trees again.
No, only to myself. The whole experience, of course, in retrospect, was spectacular. It was a turning point in my life. I mean, objectively speaking, MacGyver launched me into an awareness of the whole business, the whole shebang. But this series really kind of the collaboration of it, for one thing, they allowed me to be kind of involved in the development part of it, but not so much really. I just knew a good thing when I saw it and relaxed into it as much as I could, and again tried to stay out of the way. These guys knew what they were doing. Good Lord.
Did you, when you first heard about the script and the concept and everything, Rick, did you think it would actually like become what it became? I mean, eventually 17 seasons of this ongoing, long, massive universe of a story.
No, you can't afford to think that way. You just kind of have to do it. Unless you can sign I knew this thing had been signed, to Showtime, was it? Right? Yeah. Showtime for 2 seasons out of the gate. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah. So we knew that it at least had, 2 seasons worth of, to get the momentum going. And it took, I don't know how that part of it works, but some executives thought it was a good idea, and Brad and Jonathan had the energy and the wherewithal and the imagination to take it forward. So
we just typed a lot. I remember
initially.
Because I remember Brad.
I do remember thinking, well, if they want Kurt Russell in this role, they're not going to get it. And I've been quoted as saying in the past that my hair just wouldn't do that.
It's true. You said that on the phone to me. I remember that very, very clearly. And then I said, jokingly, and this is where that started. I said, and I don't even know it was because we misspelled the original one. And I said, you're not that Jack O'Neill. Your Jack O'Neill is spelled with 2 L's. You're a different guy. And we laughed, and that was that. But it became a runner in the show. I mean, he did the 2 L's joke more than once, holding up 3 fingers, of course, because it's Rick. And it was this runner. But there was a time, and we've discussed this, when Kurt came to set.
Yeah.
And he was lovely and said, "Oh, this is this is a really cool show," and walked into our giant and said, "This is as good as ours. This is amazing," and was lovely to Rick. And I wanted to ask him to be in the show and have him stepping out of the elevator saying hi Jack, and Rick going in saying hi Jack, but no, that was never going to happen. Mainly because the movie he was doing was Graceland, and he looked like Elvis.
Yes,
and
I was just going to say, it's perfect. Oh, lost opportunities.
It would have been fun. It would have been a lot of fun.
Would have helped his career too.
I think he's doing okay. I love him as Santa, by the way. I mean, he's like the best Santa. If you haven't seen it, Rick, it's a great Christmas movie. He and especially in the second one, Goldie Hawn plays, who was his partner, plays Mrs. Santa, Mrs. Claus, and they are hilarious together as Santa. I mean, he's really fun.
They got married.
He can't. I know are they married now? I don't know.
I think they went through the ceremony. Yeah.
Oh, cool. We don't talk, so I don't know.
Over lockdown, a lot of people either discovered Stargate for the first time or rediscovered it since their childhood. And I know a lot of people connected over that. And so we have a short video that a group of ladies came together. They found each other on TikTok through Stargate and bonded over. So they made a short video that I want to show you as well.
Hello, I'm Sarah. I'm from Pennsylvania, and I am the O'Neill of the group.
Hi, I am Christina from California, and I aspire to be the Daniel of the group.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I am from South Carolina, and I am the Sam Carter of the group.
And we're Three Fries Short.
Three Fries Short.
So we host
Stargate.
Yeah, so we host the Stargate podcast, brought to you courtesy of our love for the show. And we met on TikTok, and the fandom was alive and well.
Stargate was something I always grew up with. I watched it with my dad, and I've always come back to it, rewatched it throughout my youth and adulthood. And when COVID hit, I was like, it came back. And it came back stronger than ever, because now there's a whole community of people that I can talk about a show that's turning 25 years old, and we can still find something new and exciting about it every time we talk about an episode.
I joined TikTok just to get through COVID, but ended up finding my family and my authentic self through Stargate. I'm super happy to have found these ladies and be in a podcast for them.
Yeah. If the question is, what impact has Stargate had on me? It's right here. It's that I have a whole family now.
Not to mention our notorious tattoos that exist all over the place.
We're like a gang.
We're a gang.
I think that's the power of fandom. It's a television show that's put out there, and people can connect and bond and have discourse, and maybe you don't always agree, but you can connect with other people who are across the country and I've never met in real life yet.
And the world. Thank you for that, Stargate. And
yeah,
I think we can all say happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Oh,
That's
my
great.
God. That's lovely.
It is lovely.
That's wonderful. And nice personalities. Jeepers.
Yeah.
Hire them.
I have to listen to that podcast now.
Yeah, they're really great. They would love you on their podcast. Well, we'll chat afterwards. I'll fire you a note, Brad.
Okay.
Link-
Yeah. Hook me up.
Link me.
That's great. I know. I love it.
Yeah, they're really great, and really, they're watching right now. I'm sure. I hopefully they're very excited and you know, in the podcast. They're very supportive of us as well, and help us out all the time. They're really, really great gals. Really cool.
Terrific.
Wonderful girl. Gender thing. Is that girls is okay?
It is okay. I've checked with them.
Okay.
Pronouns. Yeah, I have.
They're absolutely lovely. But I want to be linked in to that too.
Yeah.
The pod.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They would love it. Yeah. Here's another thing about, let's say, Stargate and culture and society and affecting things. It's kind of a fun thing, but I don't know if Rick, you've ever had in your contract, like if they ever put out merchandise, like say action figures. We found some like action figures of you. Did you ever get any of these, or have you ever seen these action figures? I think one we have is like Black Ops O'Neill. We've got another one is like I guess you in like a desert. Oh, it's not this one. It's one. Sorry, yeah,
There you
this one
go.
here. Yeah.
I don't know that $150.
Yeah, that's what it would
Oh,
cost right now on eBay if you want to go and bid for
no.
yourself.
Oh,
I don't
my
think
God.
that's the original sale price.
Oh yeah,
No.
no. This is
The collector price.
yes.
Good Lord.
Increased 5 times in value, 10 times in value, I guess.
They should really do action figures of writers typing. I think that would be really cool. You know, the Joe Malutz. Maybe not. They would sell for less.
Yeah.
Problem.
And then yeah, I mean it's there's the kind of Tom, I kind of messed you up because I think I went out of order. But there's board games as well. And so the previous photo, if you are able to go back, I guess MGM and a company called Wyvern Gaming, they started doing this role-playing game. It was very successful with a crowdfunding campaign, and people can be a Stargate Command, Stargate team, inspired by you, and the rest of the cast, and they go out on their own adventures, and with this kind of role-playing game, you assume you become a member of Stargate Command, basically. And so I
and
think
you get
that's
to
what
walk in a nice dress through the Stargate.
Yeah.
Notice
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
They are
So-
unprepared.
Yeah.
Form fitting. Nice.
No, but they, and then there's the guy who's doing what Rick always used to do with the puddle, like draw in it. And we would
Right.
just go, okay, that just cost $4,000. Oh well,
I think
it's a good
I think
moment.
I was doing mime.
Oh, of course you were. That's funny.
And then after
No
the
shoes
action
on that
figure-
guy either. It's like just big.
He doesn't
No,
need
I guess
shoes.
it-
That
I guess
don't know
those
what
feet
that
are
alien race is,
robust.
but- Yeah.
That's funny.
And then if you go kind of farther along, 2 more. Sorry, but I messed you up. Yeah, I never played a trading card game of yourself, Rick, but that's what this looks like. They made trading cards as well.
Really?
And yeah.
Who's that?
I this goes way back.
Yeah, I think this was produced around 2007 or 2008, I think, from memory.
We were still shooting. I remember getting because there was also special cards that were signed by the actors, and you could get a special signed card. It was cool.
Yeah, those go for a lot now online
Yeah.
as well with the action figure. Yeah.
Wonder if
And
my
so-
lawyer should be looking into this.
Rick,
You-
have
you
them
got your
email me and
piece,
we'll
It's
hook it
just
up.
that the piece was so small you didn't notice it.
Oh, I don't know. I'll talk to Bill.
How is he doing?
Very well. Very
Oh, good.
well. Yeah. All's
I always
in-
end up I happen to talk to him over the years a few times in my efforts to get you to come back and play in other shows.
I never heard about
Well, that's because I asked you first, and you said sure, but then I also had to talk to Bill.
Oh, right. I forgot
Yeah, I
how it
couldn't
worked.
just say you're working for the craft service, because you would have said, "Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Is it salmon? Perfect."
Oh, the days.
Oh, the days.
Um,
Rick ate
Yeah.
a piece of salmon and maybe a little bit of rice every day. I don't know, almost every day. Wouldn't you say, Rick, for lunch? Because you were keeping your svelte action figure form.
I don't know if I was paying that much attention later on.
Okay.
as evidenced by what you see today.
No, you look good. You look really good.
For an old guy, maybe.
Yeah, I didn't say that part. That was implied.
I know. This is for the fans, so they know how we think between each.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Not that far behind you.
New card.
New card.
You power up to four now. We have one last, I'm sure would be a collector's item, but is hidden away in, I believe, Brad's server room bunker.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Look at
oh, so handsome and
Okay.
legal here.
Here's what James did. We did an episode. This is from SGU. We did an episode set in the Pentagon, and so we had to have artwork of people. And rather than it would be better to use pretend people, but then you have to get the rights to use somebody's face. So I remember walking down he said, "Brad, could you step out here for a second?" And I did, and I gave him that look apparently, and he took my picture and walked away. And I went, "What the hell was that about?" Then, as I often did on the SGU, I walked the set before they started shooting, and I'm walking down the hall. I can't remember who directed that episode, possibly Peter Delaware. And I look at the end of the hall, and there's that picture of me, and that is an enormous picture, by the way. Like it's as tall as I am in real life, and I just went, no, that's not going to work. And then there was supposed to be a damaged area, so we just put that picture in the damaged area where you couldn't really see it.
It's a great shot.
It's a great shot. It just felt very.
What?
My shoulders are not that wide. It's just very self-aggrandizing. To feature it in the show would have felt self-aggrandizing to me. So
No. Why it's not in your home is what I want to know.
That is my home. It's just a closet.
Is?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's where that's the server room in my house.
Fireplace.
That would go over really well with my wife. General Brad over the fireplace. I don't think so.
No, it's really good.
It's fun. I mean, that's how good James is, right? He just takes a photograph, whips it into a painting. He probably did 7 of them that day. He's a genuine master of his craft.
We would love a copy of that. We can hang it in the office, Brad. So
Rick can have the original if he wants. It's just FedExing it to him is going to take months, apparently. It's another story.
Yes. So that's what we have. We got one last photo as part of this kind of special, but it's for you, Rick. And we were trying to time it so FedEx would actually give it to you at the exact moment, but unfortunately,
you want to play the video first?
Arrived. Yeah. So we'll play the video. We'll play the video instead.
This is where Mom comes in.
This is where Mom comes in.
Hi, Rick. I'm Laura Wright, Brad Wright's mother, of course. And I just want to say how much I enjoy The Companion and seeing you and the rest of the cast of Stargate SG-1. A marvelous show. I really enjoyed it. And I did hear that you love dogs, and I do too. I painted so many wonderful dogs, and I did one for you too.
Oh no!
Brad sent me the picture
God.
of your beautiful dog, and I hope you like it too.
Oh, Mama, that's gorgeous!
Isn't it good?
Oh, Mom, Laura.
Lorna.
Lorna?
Oh,
that's so wonderful. Look at her.
Yeah, it's all about the eyes. We had this conversation, and she always captures the eyes. God. She's really proud of this one. My mom is 91 next week.
And you, boy. Oh, I'm what's the word for it? Flabbergasted. Gobsmacked. Is it
gobsmacked? Is good. Yeah.
Oh, that's Lorna. I need her phone number. You know that, right?
Yeah. and you'll get it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was supposed to come yesterday to your house, and FedEx screwed up. So you'll get it tomorrow. It's supposed to come last week to your house, but in a way, I'm glad, because you would have opened it, and this is your genuine reaction. And I think Mom's gonna like it.
No kidding. It's so great. Oh, Lorna, I love you. I really do.
She's proud of it too. She did Boo. Do you remember Boo? She did the painting of Boo for me.
Yeah.
That is lovely. And I showed you Tango. And when you remarked on the job she did, Tango, Mom says to me, and this is she's so shy about her work. She says, "Do you think Rick would like it if I did a picture of his dog?" And I said, "I think he would love it." And you had just sent me a lovely photograph. And so I sent it to Mom and said, "I think you could do this." And she said, "Oh, I know I can. I'll get right on it." and she would send me updates, and I kept saying, "It's beautiful, Mom." And she chose the frame and framed it, and I picked it up last week, and you should have it tomorrow.
Oh, Bradley, it's just wonderful. Absolutely.
I'm glad you think so.
Hits me in my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, and I knew it would.
My pup. Thanks. Okay, bye. Jeez.
Well, we don't have to go on and on about it, but I'm proud of my mom very much, and think she's, and I'm even more proud that she thought it would be a nice gift for you for our 25th anniversary, and I guess it is.
Just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Thanks.
Okay. We're both getting a little bit clumped here, Lawrence.
We've been dicing the onions, and so it's that. But no, thank you both, and hope you enjoyed. We enjoyed the conversation, and Rick, I can't wait for you to get that painting. And there was a conversation that we're going to play for the rest of the fans. It's about 10 minutes or so, where you and Amanda and Michael and Brad spoke about a couple of months ago when we did the Stargate AI event. We talked about Children of the Gods and the kind of the early days in the casting process. So we're going to wrap up with that. So if there's anything else either of you want to say in terms of goodbyes, let's do that now, and then we're kind of just roll that.
Honestly, I just want to say to the fans watching this, 25 years is a long time, but it's if you told me 25 years ago that the show would still be popular enough that its anniversary was celebrated at all, I would be shocked. And to be able to share that with my friend Rick it was fun, and I'm just glad we're both here and happy to do this together. That's all I need to say, buddy.
I'm still lost in a reverie here. Yeah, it's been a nice run, and it's nice. Like 25 years later, I'm brought to tears by this man who I never would have met, and therefore never met his mother. But that's what Stargate did for me. It brought me a friend like Brad, and more his mother. Let's be honest. But thank you, every man jack of you. Yeah, thanks. Let's do it again sometime.
Let's. We're done.
This marks the 25th anniversary of the pilot episode, Children of the Gods of Stargate SG-1. Brad, Rick, Michael, Amanda, what do you remember? What was that table read like?
Mary was a party. Remember?
Well, it's probably saner than subsequent read-throughs.
It was fine. I remember it. It was pretty good, and Mario was very
Mario.
very emotional and very enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you know that you wanted to adapt the film and make this into a series?
When I walked out of the theater,
Really?
I realized, and I'm not kidding, that this would be a better television show than it was a movie, and that when you have 29 symbols on something, it's likely to create the tens of thousands of permutations, which could be places you could go. And it just was so obviously a storytelling engine. And I've said not since the Starship Enterprise has there been a better one. It is a terrific storytelling engine.
Yeah.
And then we found out how expensive it was to go through the storytelling engine. So, but that's another story.
Rick and Michael, have you ever met Kurt Russell or James Spader and discussed playing a similar or same role?
I met Kurt. He was shooting something where he played Elvis Presley, and he was on the lot in Vancouver, and came over and looked at the set and was nodding approvingly, and it said something to the effect of, I really like what you guys are doing. It was complimentary, put it that way. And I asked where Goldie was, and that was pretty much the end of the conversation. No.
He was so nice.
He was really lovely.
Yeah, very nice.
And then he watched us do some takes. He stood in the control room while we shot a scene.
Wow.
And it was so distracting to have him standing off to the side. So weird.
What about you, Michael?
We just met Kurt, but I think, as far as I know, James Spader denies he was ever in the movie.
Interesting.
So, but if I did approach him, he might call security right away.
There is film evidence of his appearance in the movie.
There is.
Yeah.
I know, that's the thing. It's hard to deny, but I think he'd still try.
Amanda, what do you remember about the early days, even the casting process?
The casting process I remember really distinctly, because that's when I first met these guys. But I remember sitting, first of all, the audition in Toronto, I remember leaving it and thinking it's going to go to an American, but I felt really good about the audition. I remember walking up Yonge Street in Toronto, and it was sunny, and I was like, wow, I feel really good about that, but let it go. And it was one of the few auditions that I actually just like really let go, because I didn't think I stood a chance. And then there was, you wanted our demo tapes, and then it was down to 8, and then it was down to 3, and then we were flown to LA, and we all met at MGM in this room, the 3 Sam Carters, 3 Daniel Jacksons, a couple of Teal'cs, a couple of General Hammonds, and we were all in there together, and Rick was inside with the MGM executives. And then who came in after? Was it Showcase or Showtime that came in after MGM? There was one round of auditions that we all went up on stage individually with Rick. And then we were asked to, if we read your name, you can leave.
Ooh.
But if we don't, you can stay, which was the worst. And at that point, Michael and Chris and I had actually kind of migrated towards each other. It was super cool. And we just sort of kept going, did you hear my name? I didn't hear your name. Did you? So we knew that we were, at least in the running. And Michael actually waited, because we were the last 2 to go in on the final round. Michael went in, and then I went in, and Michael waited, and we took a cab back to the hotel together and said, hey, hopefully we see you on set, gave each other a hug, and good luck. Yeah, it was really cool. But what I also remember is Brad Wright changed the course of my history with that. Was after the first audition with Rick, where I was kind of joking around with him, Brad and Jonathan came out, and Brad said to me, look, you're doing great. What you're doing with Rick in between the scenes is that kind of vibe that I want, like have that kind of fun. And you were just so sweet, Brad. You said you were a fan and you wanted to see me get the part, and you were just so, it was like, oh, wow. And we sort of stepped outside that waiting room, and we're sitting outside, and yeah, it made all the difference, because then I just went in and had more fun with the
You were
second
great.
half.
You were great. I wanted you to be Sam Carter.
Yeah, thanks. Well, yeah, but we
My
had more fun.
goodness.
And at the very end, they had Rick and I stand next to each other. And Rick, you put your arm around me, and I put my arm around your waist. And I don't know what possessed me, but I went, so is this like the swimsuit part of the competition? Idiot. And then walked out going, oh, I just blew it. I just blew it.
No. That's exactly that. That was,
Yeah.
You really do
Fabulous.
remember it distinctly.
I really do remember it distinctly, probably because I've been asked to tell the story a few times, but it was like a seminal moment.
Wow.
And I had to sign the contract in the bathroom at MGM because I hadn't signed
What?
the contract yet. Yeah.
A
And
contract?
before we
For
could
the test
audition,
option.
I had to sign like the
Yeah,
test
the test
option
option.
contract.
Oh.
And I hadn't signed it yet, so they wouldn't let me go in until I signed it. So it was in the bathroom at MGM that I signed the test deal contract. On the phone with my agent saying, they're making me sign it. I gotta sign it. Yeah.
Michael, what do you remember?
I remember I had to do it twice. I had to screen test twice because when I was waiting for Amanda, one of the assistants, the casting assistants, came running out and said, Michael, and I was like, oh no, oh God, what? And because I'm thinking, everything was going swimmingly, and I'm going, oh God, no, what now? And they go, hey, are you available to come back tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah, sure, great, sounds good. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And they said, because there's a couple people that couldn't make it for today that are coming in tomorrow, so can you come back to do it again? And I'm like, to screen test all over again. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, I think I told you that what happened was some of the higher ups on the studio side and at Showtime thought you were very young.
Yep.
You were very young. And I remember saying this. Yes, I know he has to have been a doctor and be able to speak 20 languages, but I promise you one thing, he will age. You did, and you did. So that's why you were perfect. No, they were worried about your youth and the credibility of your youth.
And I didn't have a ton at that point. I didn't have a ton of experience either. I think I'd done like
they meant that on multiple. Yeah,
things.
but you were great. You were also great.
And then
And they didn't want me, right, Brad? Like there was a fight.
There was fighting for both of you. Let's put it that way.
really,
Yep.
that's unimaginable.
It's definitely unimaginable in retrospect. But it was not like a drag down. It was just a discussion. That's natural casting. It's the nature of the beast. Nobody just immediately in casting goes, oh yeah, we all agree it's this person.
Michael and Amanda, you went on to direct episodes. Was that the first time that either of you had done that? And was it fun or daunting to be, working over, in effect, coworkers at the time?
It was fun and daunting, and I think I was the most daunted because I had to deal with not just our cast, but I had to deal with the robot doubles of our cast, and have Richard Dean Anderson have to have a fight with himself.
I remember that. Face replacement. It was pretty early on in face replacement.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
that
did
was,
the end of season 7. It wasn't the last episode, it was the second last episode, but we shot it last. And so I had to get everything. There was no second unit, there was no insert unit. It was like, you've got to get everything, because when we wrap, this season is wrapped. And it was very daunting, but it actually launched my directing career.
I was going to say, you've done a ton since. Was that your
Yeah.
debut?
That was the first one. That was the very first one. And now,
Wow.
like, I don't know, up to close to 70 episodes, I think, of television now. But I took a huge risk in that teaser. I shot it in one shot, and it involved like the guys getting out of a car and a Steadicam operator on a crane that came down off the roof of a building, and he got off the crane and walked to the car, and then we all got out of the car, and then he went back on the crane and we went into the building. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was so much fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Blew the budget first day.
Rick, it's been 25 years. What? How do you reflect on it? What do you think about the legacy of Stargate SG-1 and the universe as it's given birth to?
Well, much to my discredit, I've sort of lost touch with much of what happened, but my recollections are all wonderful and very loving and playful. These days, I find myself, when I do reflect specifically, missing that. Missing the camaraderie and the laughter and just the connection that we all had. Well, three of us had, but so I find myself kind of at 72 reflecting on those days of being younger, first of all, but also having a great family that I liked going to work to see. But other than that, nothing. No. It was.
Well, can I throw in then, Rick, how much of a joy it was for me to watch and to listen to hear you doing O'Neill again and Jack, both characters, and hearing your voice in character. It was fun. I was feeling a warm feeling the entire read through and very engaged, and I'm grateful that we had the opportunity through the companion to do this. It was just for me really, really rewarding.
Yeah.
I'd do it again. Well,
You're referring to a reboot of the Stargate SG-1 franchise. You'd do it again in a second. Is that what I just heard?
yes.
Okay, sweet. That's legally
Thank
binding.
you.
We did laugh a lot. I think
Oh
every day.
God, and we did this time too. So very grateful.